So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this.
What if your take-home pay went down 25%? Where would you cut back? What would you do without? Senator Jeanne Shaheen cast the deciding vote for Obamacare. Now, employers may cut your weekly work hours from 40 to 29 to avoid the new taxes and penalties. Fewer hours, less money, tougher times. Tell Senator Shaheen you can't afford Obamacare.
Few things are as important as finding the right doctor. And under Obamacare, that's harder than ever. Over a third of our hospitals no longer available. Our doctors no longer covered. Fewer choices, longer drives. No state has been harder hit than us. And even after watching it impact New Hampshire, Congresswoman Ann Custer still supports it. Call Ann Custer. Tell her Obamacare isn't working for New Hampshire.
We are back. The conversation has not ended, even though you weren't joining us. But that's how we roll. Somebody's moving. I got somebody's headset on.
We're on a roll.
There we go. Okay.
We can't stop.
I got it back up. Everybody's back. Welcome back to GrokTALK, brought to you by GrokTALK.com and the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Ustream and Blip TV. And please visit cnht.org and GrokTALK.com. Once again, Steve Kenda, Jane Cormier, and Robert Forsyth will be joining us later. But until then, it's just us.
Oh, we always have plenty to say. And actually, I'm going to read two things, please, because that's the way I'm rolling today. This is from Instapundit, and it's a one-liner for this one. Ed Driscoll looks at low-information journalist Katie Conrad, who wonders when Senator Rand Paul became a doctor. Now, think about that line.
Come on.
We have a high-level journalist who was supposed to be of the Guild of Smart People, who translates the news for us. Again, remember in the back of your mind, these are Democrats with bylines. Wonders when Senator Rand Paul became a doctor. You can't repeat history if you have no clue what happened last week.
These guys are worthless. So in other words, he dared to express an opinion on the government's handling of Ebola, and they said, well, where did he get the qualifications?
Medical school?
No, lady.
When did
you become a journalist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you just said something that really works for me. Debola. Democrat Bola.
Ebola.
Or as you that cartoon you posted about Obola. Where,
Obola, yes.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's definitely contagious. If Democrats express their affection for Obama, they're likely to lose.
Infection.
Affection.
Infection works too, though.
Yeah.
There definitely is some
Great
kind of
infection.
infection there.
Infractions, yeah.
Oh, gosh, we could keep this up forever.
Ebola.
Sure
All right.
Groktoberfest.
Let's stop Groktoberfest.
Okay.
I've been trying to have one.
So in other words, if
It's hard to get
they
people to
lose
sign
if
on.
they lose badly in November, would it be a democardial infarction?
Ooh. That's multiple syllables.
It might be. And we have that recorded for posterity, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, here, let me go on.
Yes, please, sorry.
Oh, you were reading something. Yeah,
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Well, this is the next one.
Why is this camera pointing at me again?
Because we're on the wide one right now. Because you have such pithy things to say.
Pithy. Pithy? That's not
Well, when
very
I get some
positive.
money,
I get that way sometimes.
Pithy?
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta stop hanging around with the pine trees.
I know.
All right, another entry from Glenn Reynolds, the superior Instapundit. So does everything else it does. Peggy Noonan, the administration's Ebola evasions reveals its disdain for the American people. Now, hook that up with what I just read from Eric Erickson, and that basically, Obama hates the American people. That's when you look at the actions and everything that he's done. What else can you do? Well, let's take the top folks from the 101st Airborne Division, from which the youngest came from, who are really good at fighting people. Oh, that they must be good at fighting Ebola. Now, you've got the Doctors Without Borders, who have lost 9 doctors.
Out of 15.
Out of 15.
So far.
Right. With all the superior knowledge that they have, the procedures they've got, the equipment they've got, Lots
but
of
Médecins Sans Frontières sounds so cool.
yeah, it writes nice on a tombstone too.
Sorry.
Yeah, not to worry. This is who we are, the ADD bloggers. All of the healthcare workers that have died, even though they know what they're not supposed to do, stuff happens. And now it turns out that the 101st folks that are going over there have had only 4 hours of training on how to put on all this protective gear. Now, this is supposed to be the very tip of the spear. Why are we sending these folks over there?
Can't say spear. Sorry.
I'm not going to the rest of that. Why are we sending warriors to do a technician's job in this case?
Battling.
Oh, please. I mean,
They're building hospices so people
we've
can
got all
die.
these No, but now some of the Democrat leaders are saying they ought to be having direct Ebola care contact. Why are we taking away we spend hundreds of millions of dollars to train these folks to do what they do extremely well. This goes back to Eric Erickson's making America less safe. We're going to take our best warriors and expose them to Ebola. How does this make America stronger by taking out our top military folks? This is what I just don't understand. And he's going to send 3,000 of them over there. These young kids are not trained for this stuff.
Well,
why the hell is he doing this stuff?
Well, I would just hope that when he calls up the reserves, that they get themselves together and march on the White House and frog march him over there with them.
Yeah, I mean, he just passed an executive order saying time to call up the guard. Do you know what this is?
I'd shoot the people that came for me if they did that.
This is typical community organizer. Rub that wound raw over and over and over and over and over and over again. The American people are saying, we don't want any part of this anymore. And yet this is what he's doing.
And there, Skip, you may have it. Rubbing that wound raw. Is he, in fact, trying to incite the people to rise up against him? Let's just pray for a victory in November, because otherwise it's going to get much uglier.
If there is a November.
Well, yes, there's that possibility.
I've certainly been hinting at that since.
Look at what's happened in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
Right.
My family in Dallas is basically locked down.
Are they anywhere near the affected compound?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
That's
Presbyterian Hospital is within about, 5-mile radius of where we grew up and where many of my family members
So people
still
carelessly interacting with patients and soiled waste there are now carelessly traveling throughout your parents' home area.
Well, I suspect so. I mean, there's a big Sonic near there, so. But, but you think about it, and all of those folks that go to lunch in that area, it's right off of US 75 and Walnut Hill in North Dallas. And when I first heard, that this guy had been put there, I'm thinking, Presbyterian Hospital, goodness sakes. I said, surely it's not the one with which I'm familiar, and I'll be damned if it wasn't. And I called my brother and my sister, 2 of them to start anyway, and said, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And they're like, oh, yeah. So they don't seem to be, I don't know if it's a normalcy bias, which we all understand, but now the Dallas County Commissioners are talking about restricting egress and ingress. Now, why not just say...
In other words, let's lock the house, grab our guns, and get the hell out of town now before they stop us.
I'm figuring it's not my... In fact, he was supposed to come up for a conference next Friday in St. Albans. And the night before they started talking about closing down Dallas County, he called and said, you know what, I'm not going to travel. And I said, thank God. So he's hunkered down in North Dallas, and I'm... when you look at that part of the world, it's not like where we live, where there's some country and some distance between your neighbors.
Suburban.
Even in the nice parts of North Dallas.
Well, you're okay until your cows start showing up pre-pureed at the burger joint.
Yeah, you cannot. So I'm terrified for them.
Yeah. Damn right. So, Skip, I got an alternate view on what the troops ought to be doing in Liberia.
Well, hold on a second. I got to get this out because it does play into this as well.
Okay, keep going.
The administration's Ebola...
I'm sorry, just real quick. Steve Kent is stuck in traffic, so he may not make it in time. So,
okay.
Well, we'll keep going till he gets here.
Correct.
The administration's Ebola evasions reveal its disdain for the American people. Instant Pundit wrote back, if we were as practical and realistic and way ahead of our government, there would be politicians hanging from lampposts right now. And the first thought I had was, indeed, based on how they've not handled this situation. But the second thought that went through my mind was, we've done this to ourselves with the politicians that we've elected that have grown government to this point where they're making the Keystone cops in the clown car look reasonable.
Absolutely. The clown car looks like a bear cat now.
Yeah, and now who's taking the lead? It's the local government. I mean, Steve, you're on this more than anybody else on Granite Grok. But we all agree the best government is the most local government. And the less that we have with the governments above it, the better off we seem to be. And here's a case, you're talking about the Dallas commissioners. They voted, I think, affirmatively to declare that state of emergency 2 o'clock yesterday. On Thursday, excuse me. Today's it's been a bad week, folks. So they, they voted for this, and they're doing the right stuff. They're trying to get the right people to do the right things, and it's the highest level. The ones that the communist, what's her name?
Which one?
NH Dog Mom has so much faith in. The progressives who believe that big government with its quote-unquote nonpartisan, IRS, nonpartisan officialdom and bureaucrats and technocrats who are experts far beyond us, who still put their pants on the same way I do.
Are you sure?
Well, it's either one leg.
Have you ever watched them?
No.
Ew. But it's got to be either one leg or two legs at the same time.
You're going to run out of time. Make your point.
Sorry.
You got about...
I just lost my train of thought.
Okay, there you go.
The government that's closest to you.
Yeah, and they're the ones that are shining. And enough of this big progressive government. I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood, folks. And I'm just going to rant.
So I'm going to tell you what I think the military should be doing, and I'll tell you the politically incorrect reason for it when we come back. They should be using their superior firepower and scorched earth tactics to burn the bodies, destroy the bodies completely, because the locals won't. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, well, no, they won't.
There you go.
That's it. Right. Scorched earth. That's Obama's policy for Dallas, I think.
That's what we need to do in Liberia.
The Texas State Fair started yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Lots of happy news here at GraniteGrok.com and GrokTALK. We will be right back. Steve Kent is stuck in traffic, so we'll just keep going until he gets here, and we'll try to manage everybody else. And if we have to run the show a little late, we'll do it. No big deal. We're awesome. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
When asked whether she still supports Obamacare, Senator Jeanne Shaheen said,
"Yes, I do continue to support the law. We're beginning to see some positive results."
How can Senator Shaheen say we're seeing positive results when 22,000 of our neighbors have already lost their health insurance? What's worse, the Boston Globe reports the state's only health insurance provider radically reduced the number of hospitals in their network, forcing some people to drive over an hour for lab work, even when there's a hospital within a few miles of their home. When pressed about lack of access, Shaheen said,
"There are some hospitals that are not covered, unfortunately, and I certainly hope that's going to change."
Jeanne Shaheen promised us we could keep our doctors and our healthcare coverage. Now she hopes we can get to a local hospital? Call Senator Shaheen at 603-647-7500. Tell her we need more than hope. We need leadership. Paid for by Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning. You're listening to GrokTALK.